All right, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on The Wax. It's Tuesday, June 10th. I'm Caitlin Nuclo.
And I'm Caitlin Francis. Lots to cover here this morning. But that also includes the forecast. We've got some rain and some storms that are expected to move through the state. So let's get a check on that, all that important information with meteorologist Jill Gilardi. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so far it's been pretty good. I mean, we have some mist and fog.
It's foggy.
But in terms of the rain, it's just now starting to build in across western, especially southwestern Connecticut. As we take a look at First Alert Live radar, again, most of the state is quiet, but it's not going to stay that way for our entire morning. As we zoom on down to where we're starting to see that rain entering southwestern Connecticut, you see there are some downpours out there so far. No lightning strikes with this activity. And then the next hour, that activity is going to be coming up, and we'll give you a first alert in Waterbury. You could see some of this rain clipping you back towards, say, Kent, towards Salisbury. So in the next hour, this is where we expect that heavier rain to move on through. So yeah, it is still the heart of it back to our west, but we're going to get pieces of rain and at times some embedded storms to move through. But yeah, a little misty out there, fog, limited visibility, an issue to start off. Temperatures generally in the low 60s. So if you're headed out and about, you definitely need the umbrella today. If you're hoping to get that walk in, some of you to the east could squeeze it in the next hour, but your better chances are later on this afternoon. We'll talk about if there's a chance for any severe storms or flooding concerns, all that and more will come up in the next 10 minutes or so. Let's get an update, though, on traffic with Caitlin.
All right, thanks, Jill. Good morning, everyone. Heading out the door here, we're taking a live look across the state. You know what? Traffic volume actually not doing too bad. We're seeing pretty normal traffic volume building through the capital city there. In Hartford on 91 north and southbound, those delays building as you're merging onto 84 there from the southbound side. Traffic picking up through Waterbury by the Mixmaster, 84 east and westbound. Still dealing with some of that fog, though. You can see this Hartford skyline there in Middletown as well along Route 9, running right along the Connecticut River, and in Meriden along 691 east and westbound, where traffic volume is light, but again, still a little foggy to start. No crashes, no major incidents. That's a little bit of good news. I do expect that we'll probably see some daytime construction work across the state. Just got to watch out for those storms if you're one of those crews out there working, and make sure that once again, if you are traveling through an active work zone, you slow it down, move over. It's the law. Almost a 2-hour ride 95 southbound from New Haven to the George Washington Bridge. The Parkway backing up. The rest of the state looking pretty good. That's a quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers. It's 7:03 now. This morning, we've learned a baby boy has died after he and his mother went missing from the town of Washington. Now, this was a tragic story that we've been following for you since the weekend.
Yeah, the child and his mom were found Sunday evening on a wooded road. His mother was seriously hurt as well. And police tell us there have not been any arrests made in this case. There is no threat to the public, but there are still a lot of unanswered questions here, and they're investigating how that boy died.
Let's move you to some breaking news here this morning. An investigation underway right now into a house fire in Middletown. This all happened about 5 o'clock this morning, right on Lake Ridge Heights.
The Middletown fire chief telling us that the fire was mostly contained to the attic. One person was inside, got out safely. You can see some of the damage there left behind. No one was hurt.
Happening right now in Meriden. Seniors at Maloney High School set to rally around one of their classmates who won't be with them at graduation tonight.
That's because that student and his father are currently being held at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility all the way in Texas. Your reporter Marcy Jones breaking down where that case stands right now.
Well, after years of building memories together as classmates, some seniors are banding together to make sure that one of their own is not forgotten on one of the most important days of their young lives. Some of the students' fellow senior classmates tell us they've planned a peaceful protest for tonight's graduation, adding their ultimate goal is to get him released from ICE custody as soon as possible. Meriden Mayor Kevin Scarpati tells us he's been in contact with the student's family and has been communicating with the state's congressional delegation, working to get both father and son back as soon as possible, adding that this is not an isolated case. We know that the ceremony starts at 6 tonight on the football field, and we have been told by school officials that they will read the student's name out loud. Your reporter in Meriden, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
7:05 now. We're tracking some developing news in Los Angeles this morning after the Pentagon nearly doubled the number of troops responding to immigration protests there.
Naomi Ruckham is your correspondent, taking a look at what's changed in the last 24 hours.
The Pentagon is mobilizing 700 Marines and 2,000 additional National Guard troops to Los Angeles as anti-ICE protests stretch into a fifth day. This as the Los Angeles police chief says he's confident his department and partners can handle the growing demonstrations, with dozens of arrests made so far.
The introduction of federal military personnel without direct coordination creates logistical challenges and risks confusion during critical incidents.
Protests have also spread to other parts of California.
The people in our federal government who are making decisions to put troops on the streets and to round up members of our community need to see that we're not with them.
As well as states around the country like Florida and Texas. In Austin, tear gas was used to disperse crowds. Meanwhile, escalating tensions in LA have stoked a political clash between California Governor Gavin Newsom and the Trump administration. President Donald Trump's border czar Tom Homan has threatened the arrest of anyone who obstructs federal authorities, including Newsom, prompting this reaction from the president.
Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing.
Newsom, in an interview, called on the White House to arrest him and, quote, just get it over with. The state has sued over the deployment of federal troops, calling it an unprecedented power grab. The White House says it's necessary to protect federal property. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Well, this morning we're following some breaking news for you. If your commute takes you through Middletown, you want to slow down because you could be caught speeding on camera.
Yeah, the city just installed some new speed and red light cameras. They're on Washington Street, and this is just the beginning. Your reporter Roger Suzanin is breaking down how this new system is going to work.
Yeah, the truth is it's a pretty simple process. So yeah, if you are driving around Middletown, smile and more importantly, slow down because you can see these cameras are up and running, and this really is a game-changing moment. Middletown is now the first major city in the state to install speed and red light cameras, and Middletown leaders say the goal is simple. They want to make their streets safer, but critics argue it's an invasion of privacy. So here's what drivers need to know. The city has now installed the first batch of these cameras right here on Washington Street, west of Camp Street, in both directions. Now, city leaders say people often drive 70 miles per hour or more, which is twice the legal speed limit. Police say for the next month, if you drive 10 miles an hour over the speed limit or run a red light, you'll receive a warning letter in the mail. But after this 30-day warning period ends, you'll actually get slapped with a $50 ticket for the first offense and a $75 fine for a second violation. You can also expect a $15 processing fee as well. And whether you like it or not, these cameras are going to become more and more of a fact of life here in Middletown. Very soon, the city will also install more cameras right near Spencer as well as Mooney Elementary School. So again, you will see more of these cameras in Middletown. Now, I do have to tell you, we have seen a lot of drivers driving pretty quickly here in Middletown, certainly well over the speed limit. We even saw one person who was pulled over. Keep in mind, right now, if you drive here and are caught by one of these cameras, you'll just get a warning. Of course, a police officer, though, a human police officer, though, can still give you a ticket. Reporting in Middletown this morning, I'm your reporter, Roger Suzanin, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, as you can see, it looks a little misty out there for Roger. Certainly areas of limited visibility due to fog. But in terms of rain, First Alert Live radar, the bulk of it's still to our west, but it's starting to move in across southwestern Connecticut, giving folks a first alert in the Stamford area. So in the next hour, look where it's headed. All this rain is going to be building in across parts of Fairfield, Litchfield, and even northwestern New Haven County. So that's the next hour. Yeah, there's some fog out there. Could slow you down where it could be locally dense and a little misty as well. You can see some of that fog in Hartford, low cloudiness, and those showers building in this morning into the early afternoon with breaks in the action later this afternoon and temperatures bouncing back into the 70s then. The forecast for New London, for example, the rain later this morning into the early afternoon before catching a break out there. Yeah, so the pups are going to get some wet paws today. High chance for that, but improving weather conditions the next couple of days. So we're going to be focusing on the rain and storms, how much to expect. Could they be strong too? Those details in just about 5 minutes from now. Caitlin?
All right, Jill, thank you.